Hi, my name is Ruta Matuleviciute, and I have the most wonderful friend, Zara, who is a professional psychologist. And she shared with me some very good tips for coping with stress during these curious times. Hope you find them useful. Thank you so much for being here. I will introduce Zara. She's a professional psychologist. She's a counseling psychologist specializing in person-centered approach and currently studying PhD in St. Petersburg State University.
Yeah, Zara, that's me.
That's you, and you have some more accomplishments. I will tell about this as well, because these are amazing. Zara Yeremyan has a list of publications in Armenian and Russian languages and is currently working on her next article on difference of perception of the observing in groups of low and high empathy individuals. Unconditional positive regard and congruence. That is just amazing work, very profound research. I really want to see the article when it comes out. It's really
Thank you so much. Yeah.
I saw
actually me too. I can send it to you like before I publish it, so you will be one of the first readers.
Oh, that's amazing. I also saw some of your articles online, but they were mostly in Armenian or Russian languages, so I couldn't read it.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Yeah. It will be one day that you are published all around the world in all languages.
Thank you so much. Yeah, hopefully someday I'll do that.
So I have some questions for you. You saw them. They are about this particular situation we are going through right now in the world this past year, and everyone is feeling all kinds of emotions, be it good ones, maybe some are enjoying, they having holidays and watching Netflix, and others are stressing because they are losing jobs, or maybe they cannot travel to see their parents for the holidays. And I know that Armenia went to a second lockdown, as you have told me, and Lithuania did as well about a week ago. So it's kind of interesting. Around here, everyone are feeling a bit out of their minds, maybe. And
that's everywhere.
Yes, and also it sometimes so happens, maybe not sometimes, but most of the time, that problems arise not alone, they come in groups, and Armenia had some issues, and you were the professional working on helping people that are experiencing those issues on the personal, on the individual level. So would you tell me what was your reaction to these circumstances, and how did you react? How did you come to be stable in during this time?
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, firstly, I want to thank you because we are now experiencing difficult times, and in difficult times, it's very curious to speak with friends, to talk with friends. So, thank you so much for this interview. And well, returning to the question, I can say that I think that we have a very bitter pill that we have to swallow and try to rise from this fallen state and build our future. So this is actually a stress because during the war, as you know, we were in war, Artsakh and Azerbaijan were in war, and we had a huge stress because there was a political tension in our country, well, because of obvious reasons. So, but nevertheless, I think that struggles and hardships develop our inner strengths. So this was the case that I tried to be stable, but actually I didn't expect such losses, and I couldn't even imagine. I mean, me as a counseling psychologist working in Moscow, I dealt with so different problems, but I could never imagine what will I experience here with the people who were in this war actually. And you know, to answer to this question more fully and more, I don't know, thoroughly, I think that it's important to understand what has happened in our country and in why the people need psychological help. So the Azeri side has committed and is committing many war crimes and very grave breaches of international humanitarian laws, such as beheading people, arbitrary killing, taking hostages, attacking civilian objects. So not only the soldiers, but also the whole population is in need of psychological help, starting from infants, not speaking about soldiers, and I don't know, elderly grown-up people. So in other words, the first situation that we're dealing with is a terrorist population, a population that fears to be killed and tortured. Another layer that I think is very important is the involvement of Turkey. Because Turkey, as you know, is a country that committed Armenian genocide nearly 100 years ago, and these as additional psychological problems that we had before that. For example, fear of repeating of the genocide. Because, for example, I don't know, Germany made efforts of reconciliation for 4 decades. And in contrast to that, Turkey denies genocide, despite the fact that 30 countries, including UN member states, actually officially recognize the Armenian genocide. So the memory and the fear of repetitions pour salt in the wound. So this is another psychological problem that we deal with. Another important aspect is that not only soldiers, but as I said, the whole population is affected because there are a lot of refugees who manage to run just in clothes, and they just took their children, and also children who usually, not usually, but they sometimes see and witness war crimes and loss of family members. So this is also a very shocking experience for them. Another aspect are, of course, soldiers who now have PTSD and post-traumatic disorders. And there are wounded soldiers who have to reconsider their self-image, and there is another work of acceptance of their new image, and also work with their relatives, families of missing soldiers, because this is a very hard category, because their grief is stalled because they don't know where are their relatives. And I don't know, there are so many categories. Another category is are prisoners of war who are badly mistreated by Azerbaijani army, and also grown-ups who now have existential crisis because they lived in their lands and now they have to leave, and many of them stay in their houses, and then they got killed, and they got violently killed here by Azerbaijani army. So there are so many problems that we encounter, and the main problem, the main issue is that one person can be from these three categories. For example, I had a client who was a refugee from Artsakh and who had a husband in war and whose parents were left in Azerbaijani side. So this was a very tough work for personally me, because there were so many problems that we had to understand what was the most important to that person. So frankly speaking, every time before the session, the thing that gives me, let's say, power and stability is maybe openness to experience and trust in in people, and that they can self-actualize even after this horrible experience, because actually there is studies have shown that some trauma survivors report positive changes after traumatic experiences. This is called post-traumatic growth. So this means that people, adopt a new world vision. They accept these hard times, and this adds some meaning to their lives. So yeah, this is the thing that gives me hope. And gives me the strength to deal with to help these people.
And I know that you were counseling really many soldiers, right? And you told me something really something that really raises the hope that those people that you were counseling got well even after just one session with you.
Yeah.
Would you tell in more detail how is that possible to open for these new perspectives, how to look at them without really only wandering in the stressful thoughts?
Yeah. Thank you for the question. Yeah, really, this is very important. This was a very important experience for me, because those people even didn't want to talk, and I can say that they I cured them, but actually, the thing is that I believe that struggles and hardships really develop our inner strengths, and when we accept these hard experiences and all the sufferings, we add a deeper meaning to our lives. And as Frankl said, he's an existentialist whom I really love very much. He said that life is never made unbearable by circumstances, but by a lack of meaning and purpose. So actually the thing was that I suggested them to read one of his books, and this really helps a lot them. So not only psychotherapy, but also reading a book about the meaning of life and finding that new meaning, and trying to act, understanding your values and following your principles in life and making them come true is really very important for the person. And nowadays, that's the reason why there are so many psychologists volunteering, there are so many lawyers that volunteer, and also we have many social workers. So we have many volunteers, because those people really understood what are their values and try to act according to those values. And coming to your question regarding soldiers, and how was that therapy session? So the problem is that, as I said, there are so many categories that the only thing that I can do before the sessions was that I didn't know what to expect. So I had to be open with all my heart. And the most important thing was the experiences of the client, to understand what's really hard and what's the most important. But nevertheless, with some of the soldiers, I had to do some techniques to to bring them back to reality, because they were stressed, and also there were many people who gave for psychological help, for psychological aids, and they also use some techniques to just bring people from shock and from stress to reality. That was the most important thing that we had to do at that very time. So the thing that I told those people was that I'm really open to any experiences, any thoughts, any emotions that they are experiencing and they usually experience, and that I'll be with them like in any experience, in any feeling. And this made them talk. And and actually I can definitely say that every psychotherapy session is a unique, empowering experience for both the sides.
Of course, because you have to feel the same thing that they are feeling to understand and help them come out of that.
Exactly.
And that is really, I think that's really hard for you.
Yeah.
How do you yourself then after the sessions cope with all that pressure, all that thing?
When I started to work, it was on October 1st, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't expect it. I mean, I was open and I had that experience of trauma, but nevertheless, I didn't expect it. That struggles that they felt, and I didn't expect it that they will have so many problems and that everything will be so devastating for them. So the first period was really very hard for me too, and I was nearly to a burnout, I'd say, but it didn't happen because I understood that I had many clients and I had to decide what to how to be with them, and that was very hard. And that was very hard, especially because they were Armenians, and I felt that fear of being killed because you're Armenian, and that was a little bit strange and a little bit of I don't know, it was awful, let's say like this, even for me as a counseling psychologist. But nevertheless, our country helped us, psychologists, not our country, but actually psychologists helped each other, and we had encounter groups, and we had psychotherapies for our people, and also we had supervision sessions. So this really helped a lot to overcome this, shocking experience of psychotherapy. Yeah. But so, actually, nevertheless, I think that, after every psychotherapy, after that, because before that I was closed and I didn't expect so many problems, and afterwards I understood that there are so many categories that I have mentioned, and I was open to experience, and I just let it be. And after that, sincere contact, and when you understand that you really help that person, it is so rewarding, and you feel so happy to be a psychologist, because that is so empowering. Yeah, really.
Yes, of course. So from the professional side, it was really strong and like elevating experience for you to come over this. And you also mentioned that you are still working with some of the people and still helping them. Are they doing better?
I think yes, hopefully yes, because that's very interesting. I mean, my psychotherapy is about honest and frank and congruent communication from both sides, and it is very like empowering to listen a very good words about you, and they are really very frank. I mean, when they are, I don't know, when they don't like something, they can say about it very freely, and when they like something, they talk about their feelings, their positive feelings. That is so cool, because nowadays we are facing war, we have this COVID, and listening to positive feedback is like a very, very cool and very empowering and inspiring for me.
And so, if someone, even though if they are not experiencing war, but they are experiencing stress caused by the COVID and quarantine, and they don't have the access to a psychologist, what would be the first step in the process of overcoming the hard situation? You mentioning being open and coming back to reality. So how do you come back to that reality? How do you snap out of it?
Yeah, well, this is a very interesting and important question, actually, because as for me, the first step is acknowledgement, is acknowledging that you are in a hard situation, because people, like to deny it, and to have that pink glasses and say everything is amazing. So the first thing is acknowledgement, because when you acknowledge that you're in a hard situation, you start to think, you start to activate your inner strengths. That may be your kindness, that may be your ability to think, so that may be your wisdom, that may be your creativity. So you activate your inner strength, your inner power, to somehow overcome the situation, if you want to overcome it. Because and when you, as for me, when you find that strength in yourself, you can handle any situation. I don't know how it is for you. I would be very interested to know how you deal with difficult situations, because every person has his ways of overcoming this.
So as for me, overcoming difficult situations was kind of a challenge up to maybe my 24, 25 years of age when I come to the stage. And it was because I didn't really have any foundation to stand on, and I didn't really know how to cope, even though I was searching for it and reading various psychoanalytical, mostly books, and other things, speaking with people, and so on. I would just go into that stress, into those emotions. I wouldn't understand that those emotions weren't actually me. I would just get lost in them and then wouldn't know what to do, and then maybe get depressed for a very long time. And I would try to maybe express it with art, but I don't think that's the best way to cope with the emotions, because the art then is also a bit toxic.
What do you mean? That are just toxic?
Well, I mean, your artwork is the something that you create, whatever that is. It can be not only painting. It can be omelette in the morning, maybe, or a knitted scarf, anything. It's a part of you because you created it, and it has the same energy that you had during the creation. And so I felt a bit guilty of giving that kind of creation to other people. Even though it can look beautiful on the outside, it's still the inner emotion of that creation would be a bit unharmonized, disharmonized. And so then what really helped me to understand was learning how to meditate. And what after that was stable and regular routine. Very simple things, the most simple things. But when I was depressed, I couldn't understand that I have to care for myself and eat at the right time of the day, and go sleep early to wake up feeling good. I would just do whatever stuff my friends were doing, and because I didn't know better. And so implementing that routine and meditation as well to my life, which is also done regularly. It's 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes in the evening, or every day, not skipping any day. You have to do it constantly. It really created that foundation for me, and I started to feel that those depressed times when I couldn't really understand what are these emotions, they are behind me. And this was really uplifting thing for me when I understood the progress. At first I couldn't really see it because it's really subtle, and it only shows after some time, and it's also accompanied by other work, by choosing things that are best for you and not maybe what other people tell you to do. So in short, it's caring for yourself, for your body, a stable routine, the regularity, good food, and meditation. And my technique is Transcendental Meditation.
Yeah, it's so nice. I mean, that is really very, maybe, I thought that confusion in emotions and the feeling that I am my emotions, and then the feeling that, you're your body, your emotions and everything, and you're a whole, and that you're a whole, and you know better yourself and the things that you want to do, and that's very nice. I mean, I felt that you found that strength in yourself, in being responsible person, in doing good, in caring for yourself. That's so nice.
Yes.
I'm so happy.
Thank you. I'm so happy too. When we met, it was in Belgrade during, what was it?
It was a conference.
Conference, right?
Yeah, conflict management at peace building. Yeah.
In Belgrade. It was maybe in 2017, is that correct?
I think yes.
I think around that time. So it's not really far in time, but the progress is huge. And at that time, I was still overcoming my social anxiety issues, And I was so grateful to you that you approached me and started talking to me. Because having an empathic and understanding person in unknown circumstances, in a new country, whole different culture, is really stabilizing as well, and really creates that foundation too. So I'm so grateful to you. And
Thank you so much.
Happy I met you.
Yeah, me too, because I remember our very interesting and let's say smart talks for personally me, because they were about, I really felt a connection between two persons, and that was maybe the best experience that I had in Serbia. That's so cool.
Absolutely true. Yes.
Yeah.
You answered so much from the questions. I'm seeing what we should maybe elaborate on. What maybe about the reactions to the to all the events and all the global situation, because we have various reactions, as I mentioned in the beginning. Some are getting their holidays and watching Netflix, and some are maybe crying a bit.
Yeah. Well, actually, that's very interesting, because when I think about this question, I think that I remember the words of Carl Rogers, who said that the thing that is most personal is most universal. And maybe I agree with this, because the first reaction, as I said, is denial or shock to coronavirus, because nobody believes that there is such a virus at first, and then people started to panic. I don't know if you had that lack of spaghetti and some stuff in the shops. Yeah, that was like everywhere. And the thing that really surprised me, actually, this is not about psychology, but that in Moscow people bought a lot of spaghetti, and all the soaps and the hygiene things were in the shops, in the supermarkets, and were a lot. That was kind of crazy for me, but I love that experience.
That was during the spring.
Yeah, and did you have spaghetti there in Lithuania?
In Lithuania, the most popular product was toilet paper.
Oh, okay.
And also other, pasta and other dry products.
Yeah.
But toilet paper was then over the top. We had so many memes about toilet paper.
Me too.
Maybe the best thing that this situation brought was so many good memes.
Yeah.
And also, that's encouragement of creativity. People got so creative. The city municipalities got so creative. They were open to all kinds of suggestions that they wouldn't be open to in so-called normal situation like in 2019. It's not imaginable. And now the luxurious hotels open up for small artists, and city municipalities started asking some nice projects from smaller creatives, and big companies started promoting art in the city. So looking from this side, it's amazing.
It is actually. I mean, quarantine and everything. From one side, it's so boring, maybe for some people. But if you look from the other side, this year helped us to reanalyze our experiences and to think about the things that we didn't appreciate before that. So if I don't know, if we went with our friends to a cafe and we thought that it is normal, and now we appreciate it so much. That's so cool. And from another point, COVID's let's say not advantages, but the things that we can learn from COVID is that now we have an opportunity to be with ourselves and to be with our families, and to have a deeper communication with each other, and to have time for our kids, for our family members. This is a precious gift for us, as I perceive this.
Exactly.
That's so nice. Yeah, and coming back to your question, I'm sorry?
I just wanted to add a bit, if you find the right perspective, everything can be useful. Just as you said, that it's just overcoming hardships makes you stronger.
Yeah. And actually, they do. And coming back to your question, I wanted to say that COVID aroused fear and uncertainty in people, because there is a great fear of danger, of infection, of something very new that you don't know anything about it. And that was the reason that people decided to make some conspiracy theories to give them that pseudo safety. Let's say COVID is because of some people want to have some chips in our minds, or I don't know. And there were so many theories that actually rose that pseudo safety, which was that's a reality that we have to enact. But nevertheless, I think that so the first thing that we enacted is fear, which can be dealt by, for example, awareness or interest, of course, within the reasonable limits. I mean, if you fear to, I don't know, to get ill, you can watch some videos about how to react to this, how to what drugs to drink, etc. So fear, when you get fear, you have to understand what gives you protection. That can be your relationships, that can be a safe space, an external safe place, for example, your house, or an internal one, your body or your relations or your self-confidence, it doesn't matter. Another thing is that people usually feel helpless because COVID is something that we are dealing with. This is something very new. And the thing is that we have to understand and to define the zones of our, capabilities, to understand what we can do and to think creatively. So this is the most interesting and most, helpful things to do when we feel fearful or when we feel helpless in the situations.
So the first thing, of course, is to take care of yourself, and then from that peaceful feeling, for calm feeling, then you can start helping others. It's just like in the airplanes, you have the signs that you have to put the air mask for yourself first, and then after that for your children.
Exactly.
So how can you help your family members and your loved ones when you see that they are experiencing hard times and they don't have a clue how to deal with that? Maybe they don't even understand that they're they are all going through that because they are so into that process that they cannot really understand, like fish in water.
Yeah, exactly. This is I think one of the most important things. And as you mentioned, this is very important to start from yourself. Because if you want to change, if you want to help someone, you need to be in peace with yourself at first. Because this will be very, very devastating if you are not in peace with yourself. So, but nevertheless, I think that there are some, not, let's say not techniques, but just human, conditions that will really help. The first one is listening. This may be very simple, but actually it is so hard sometimes, because listening and being there for the person and showing your love, because we think that we listen, but we very rarely do listen without any judgment, with real understanding and with real empathy, and without taking responsibility for other person. So this is very important, to just listen and to show your empathy, and this is a huge cure for the person. And there are some conditions that will be very important while making this deeper connection with a person. So the first thing is unconditionality. What this means? This means that you don't love person because he or she is something, because he or she is, I don't know, beautiful or has some position or etc. Or is smart. You love that person because he, she is being. Because he exists, and that is so nice to have a person. So this is very important to realize that you accept that person and support him regardless of what the person says or does. And this communication is not about, if you do this, then I'll do this, or you must do something, or I know how it's well for you. But it's more about such, sentences like "I love you," or "You're interesting to me," or "I'm there to help you," "You're free," and such communication asserts a person freedom and personal responsibility for who she is or who he is. This is very important to remember, and actually, sometimes people ask some questions for you to make that, to have that responsibility. But the thing is that you have to understand that the person is the author of his or her life, and that he has the power in himself. And the thing that you can do is to assist him in finding his own way. So this is very important to remember. The second condition that I would like to talk about is empathy. Maybe you're guessing what I'm talking about, but I should say that empathy is really very important. This is about understanding a person from his inner feelings as if you were him. But this is a very important condition because sometimes we don't maybe perceive people's feelings, or we don't want to do that because it is so difficult for us. And being empathic really helps, because a person understands that he can be who he is, and he can be genuine, and he can be himself with you, because you try to understand his feelings. And this will really work with anyone. And this is very important. And another thing is that we sometimes forget about, is that for being empathic, you have to understand yourself, not to lose another person, and to understand him as if you were him, but you are not that person. So this is very important to remember. And another thing, while this very open communication is about congruence. Congruence means, this is one of attributes that I love most of all. This implies the person is integrated, is authentic with himself. That means that his inner experiences, his feelings, he can frankly speak about them. He can show them to everyone, because he's free, because he's congruent, and he doesn't say, I don't like you because you do this, or he says that I feel hurt because of this. And this really helps in the deeper and lasting relationships. So the thing is that we have to listen to each other, and we have to show our love, because the other person, of course, knows that we love them. But if we don't show it, and we think that they know it, and that's okay, I already love him, and that's it. That won't work. We have to show our emotions, our feelings to the people whom we love.
Yes, I can spot this issue with showing love, as some people think it might be obvious. Well, it's obvious. Yeah. Why would I repeat this all the time?
Exactly. Yeah.
It sometimes happens in families, and children then might grow up a bit closed up. Because they follow the family standards, let's say that. And you reminded me, while talking about empathy, I had these experiences of not really knowing myself, but being really empathic. I would get the emotion from the person. I would feel their emotion. When being in the near proximity with them, but I wouldn't really understand that it's their emotion that I am taking over, and I would think, oh, I got so angry. I am so angry. I will say something really stupid to you because I'm so angry. But I wasn't angry. I just took over the emotion. I didn't know my own self, and I just follow that, and that just elaborates it raises the level of the conflict, and that's not really the case we want to see.
Yeah, exactly, you're right. And I had such experience actually when I was starting my psychotherapy with my supervisor. And once he told me about that, and I didn't even I understood that I was too emotional, and I was so empathic, and I didn't have myself. That was devastating. But when he showed me, he said, this is not your emotion, I think that this is something else. That was really very helpful for me to understand that this is something from an outside, not from my inner self. Yeah, that's very nice.
Yes, exactly. It's from the outside.
And how do you feel about it now? I mean, what is now your empathy about?
Right now, when I am able to understand myself more than in the past, I really understand that I have a long way to go to really establish in this foundation. But the progress is really visible, and sometimes I still get into these situations when I'm not really rested, or maybe I ate too much candy. But most of the times when I am feeling good and I exercised in the morning and so on, I can differentiate between the two, and I can detach. Yes, I can detach from that, and I can react really from the calm being, from this calm perspective, and by understanding that, not get into other person's emotions, and so help to extinguish that instead of just putting gas into the fire. How it would happen in the past or when I'm unbalanced.
So now I felt that it's somehow, meta position, let's say like this, then that you understand yourself, and that's very cool, really.
I think that's the most important thing. That's all of our goal that we are working on, understanding yourself and self-actualizing.
Yeah, exactly.
And also getting back to the global situation, what helps also is to not see the daily media news that are a bit harsh nowadays. Maybe choose to see some beautiful things that are harmonizing for the mind and that are inspiring, and when seeing them you want to also create maybe, or talk to someone and share your love and inspire someone as well. So
exactly.
In this place, art really helps. Music, beautiful music really helps. Classical music. Nature, walks in nature, nice conversations with people, cooking nice food, not only tasty but also pretty to see for the eye, because we also we also eat with our eyes, not only with our mouth, and so
exactly.
so on.
And I remember that when that COVID started, and I decided to record some a recording for my clients, for all of them, because well, it would be easier to talk with them and to give them some advices. So the first thing I said, it was that at that time everyone looked like enemies for some news about the coronavirus, and the first thing was to stop it because this is so devastating and it eats your time, and that is not useful for your mental health. So this is the same routine of being on the net. So this is the first thing. And the second thing was about doing what you like. So as you mentioned, this can be reading, this can be, I don't know, dancing, or doing yoga and doing new things. Because when you do new things, you're in with all your body, with all your mind, and you try something new and your mind is very interested in it. This was also very important. And another thing was with for stress management is relaxation techniques. Relaxation techniques of breathing. This really helps too, because just a deep breathing. And I don't remember what else I told them about the things that they loved. Yeah, I think this was of my net. So yeah, this is very important, as you mentioned, to do what you want to do, and because we have extra time for making the things that we didn't manage to do, because we don't go to work, we don't say waste that time, and we can make a very beautiful meal and a very delicious meal and eat it. And this will help. And the routine also is very important, because in any stressful situations, we we just don't care about ourselves. So this is also very important, as you mentioned. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes, I can really remember that from my experience, that I wouldn't care for myself, because at that position you don't feel any reason to even care, to even raise from your
that's
bed.
very important. Yeah, because people in stressful situations, for example, in, let's say, COVID, people don't really divide the things that they can do to make their lives better, and from the things that they can't manage to do. For example, COVID, they can't do with it anything. They can't, let's say it's a thunderstorm, we can't do with it anything. We can bring with us an umbrella and, feel very happy that we have that umbrella during that thunderstorm if we have to go somewhere. But people really didn't divide those things. And this is very important to understand what really is in my hands and what I can do in this very situation to have to get out of it, and what I can't do, and to, as I have mentioned, to set realistic goals. This is very important, to set realistic goals.
So it could work maybe starting with something really simple and then climbing the steps to realization that you are capable of managing the situation. Maybe not up to the COVID situation, but on your personal level, or maybe on your social levels, some of your social circles level. That's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
I also really liked how you mentioned the trying to do new things. That was the thing that I heard today when I was listening to Tony Needles.
Tell me about you. It's very interesting.
So, but you are mentioning totally the same things.
Okay.
This must be the universal things.
Yeah.
So just taking care of yourself, eating good food, and that for your physical well-being. And when you mentioned about doing new things, it was keeping the mind entertained by the novelty, because all the body and all the mind engages when you are doing something new and you are learning stuff, and that's also that could be really encouraging for your brain, as if you accomplish something new, your dopamine level should raise. If I understand that correctly, I'm not a professional.
That's that's the thing that works. That really works. And this may be very simple things that I'm talking about. I mean, we are talking about taking care of ourselves, but this is very important. And once I had a session with one of my clients, and I asked him, do you do something for yourself? Do you enjoy something? And when did you do that? And he couldn't remember it. And it was so sad that he couldn't, give time to himself to make himself better in this tough situation, because he was a soldier and he came back from war. But nevertheless, he didn't do anything for himself that made him, to enjoy it, to feel the moment to the fullest. So this is very important, to try to live the moment to the fullest. It's so nice and so empowering.
I also really like how you mentioned breathing techniques to relieve stress, come out of that state, to start thinking, to start making better decisions. I also know one breath technique. Maybe you would like to share some, and I can share one too.
Yeah, of course. Well, actually, it's about inhaling, relaxation, inhaling. It's about thinking of inhaling relaxation and exhaling stress. This is very important, but also there are so many techniques and they are of different kinds, about imagination, about different images, about activating your listening, etc. And it's very important to find something that is yours, that you feel that this is yours, and try to do that. Because of course there are a lot of, and I will share with you one of the techniques that I love. I'll send it to you after this video. But I think that this is about individually liking those techniques, and meditation also is very important. Yeah, you have mentioned, and that's very important as well. I've never tried, I think. That would be very interesting, to try.
I'll send you info.
Yeah.
Yes. And about putting the mind on the breath and focusing on the breath, I think that's one form of meditation, and it's called mindfulness meditation. It's that simple. It's just concentrating on something in your body, or maybe just on the breath, just mindfulness. And but I have tried that, and of course I learned it from the internet, so it's not the best option there is, and it might have helped me a bit, but what I am doing now with the Transcendental Meditation is we have teachers, we have certified teachers, so that's how the technique is really given to person in the most highest quality it's possible, because it's not a game. You cannot play with person's consciousness. You have to give them the best that there is. So the teachers are certified, and in the individual lessons we get a mantra, a sound, which then just brings your mind to the bottom of the ocean, let's say. Just like that. And it's so simple and so profound. And you just if you imagine the ocean, and on the mind level there are these waves that are sometimes really silent, but sometimes there is a storm in the ocean. But in any case, on the bottom it's complete silence. And it's amazing to feel that feeling, and then it starts coming to your daily life, and you start thinking from that really deep, peaceful state. So that's a blessing, really. Also about the sorry.
Yeah, because I'm sorry for interruption. I thought about the unconditionality of mind. Is it the same thing you're talking about?
It could be connected. It could be that these are just different terms for it. But what we speak about is humans are usually living in these three states of consciousness, that is waking, dreaming, and sleeping. And with the meditation, we go to the fourth state. This is called transcendental state of consciousness. And what it means is just going beyond the thinking level and coming into a whole different state. And there are other states that you raise up to when you practice for a longer time. But just coming to this fourth state is just also really rewarding. I think it's the right of every human being to be able to experience this. Because yes, from this level, everything is unconditional. There are no others. Everyone are connected, and so you love everyone as yourself.
That's so deep. And actually, talking about unconditionality, I think that this is the most interesting and the most powerful state of being, because you love everyone, as you said, and you love yourself, and you love everyone unconditionally. And that's very important to just be and to love it. That's so nice. I mean, being a process and understanding and loving that process of life.
Exactly. Accepting what's happening, accepting the events, and just following them, using them as the ladder steps to raise higher.
That's very nice, because I mean, my psychotherapy is about getting that unconditionality by a very genuine talk. And what you're saying is about some techniques to get to that unconditionality. So that's very nice that we are talking about the same thing, but and about self-actualizing, of course, but by different ways, let's say, like that. That's very nice.
Yes, because no matter how you look at things, if you look deep enough, at some level, they start to connect. Even the most unimaginable, I don't know, physics and consciousness, who would have thought? We have now proved that in the most deeper level of physics, of quantum physics, it's that is called unified field. That's also that's consciousness, that's field of consciousness, and everything is made of that.
That's very interesting.
Dr. John Hagelin talks about that. He was working at CERN particle collider in Switzerland. That's very interesting. You can there are some lectures online where he is presenting. That's
very interesting. I wanted to thank you so much for this, or for our talk. It was very interesting, and I loved it so much. I was open with all my heart to this talk, and I enjoyed it to the fullest. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much too. I'm really grateful for the talk. I should elevate my experience to do this, and also I am so happy for the people who you are helping, and I hope that the situation in the global situation will get better. As I guess many people are starting to realize they have strength inside them, and the circumstances outside, on the outside, are not really that effective to them if they are strong inside and they are standing firmly on a good base.
I hope that people that will watch our video will find that strength and will think about it at least, and will find out how cool they are. if they want to look at their strengths, and if they want to get that, if they want to connect with their kindness, with their love, with their support, with their feelings, and yeah, hopefully people will, you know, get better and think about their strengths and go to that personal power and self-actualize.
Okay, thank you so much.